Okay, here's something else I've been waiting for in the mail. These are custom-made fender flares for the Tamiya Tundra. Basically, they just seem to be a cast mold. They come very rough. I'm going to have to do some sanding and trimming and painting to fit these on the side of the Tundra. But I have a feeling that once these fender flares are completed, they should be a nice addition to the truck. Hopefully this works out as well as I hope. Just want to rough out the outside of the fender flare itself before the primer goes on there, so it has a little bit to stick to. I use a very light grain on this side, not to really sand out those holes that are in the fender flares, those holes being those ones, because I want to keep the scale realism of it, but I also want the primer to be able to stick to the actual plastic here. So I'm about to start attaching the fenders to the rear box of the truck. I've already done the front cab, and now I'm going to be putting it onto the back box. So here is one of the fenders I've done. Basically painted it up, sanded it. This is a really nice product that was put out by the fellow that makes it. Basically, you can check on eBay to see where these come from. A little hole for the gas tank here, so the shape on the box. I'll actually just, oops, pardon me. I'll just zoom us into the box over here. You can see right there that this is where I'm going to be actually putting the fender flare on. So it would just fit really simply right here. He's done a little cutout there for the gas tank. I'm going to be using a marine adhesive like I've been using for a lot of the other stuff. It's really great, it's bondable, it flexes a little bit so it's not going to pull off right away. So even though I'm going to have to hold this for a while, I know that the final product and the look is going to be something that I was definitely hoping for on the vehicle.
One of the upgrades that I've decided to go ahead and do off camera is this motor swap. I was using the crawler motor, the 55 turn motor from Tekin that came with the FXR ESC, but because I knew that this was going to be in a competition or upcoming competitions where I'm pulling heavy loads or climbing steep inclines quite quickly, going over pitfalls and whatnot, I decided to go with a hand wound 55 turn motor. This is going to give me slightly more performance as well as a higher torque. With the turn motor, I've gone ahead and purchased a BEC, or a voltage regulator. Basically that's what that is, what we're looking at there. This is going to be bypassing the BEC that's in the FXR from Tekin because of the heavy load that I'm going to be having on the servos, the throttle, the 3-speed transmission servo, as well as any kind of lights and so forth that I wanted to run. I don't want to overload the ESC.
Alright, now everything is a mess. I've been sitting here working away, thinking to myself, where am I going to place these 3-cell 11.1 volt LiPo batteries? Where am I going to put them on the truck to make the most sense? So what I did was I just basically unscrewed this part and removed the top, which would of course expose the motor and whatnot. I'll just zoom in there so you guys can see. Now I know it's all messy right now, I just haven't had the chance to tidy it up. That's part of the reason why I wanted to remove this top plate as well. Now the bonus that I've noticed that really works out well for me in this build is underneath there are 2 little compartments. Not really meant for LiPo carrying, but this actually fits in there perfect. I couldn't ask for anything better than that. So basically, I've got both of these batteries. They're going to fit in there just like that. I'm going to put some Velcro on the back of them. Just some 2-sided Velcro to make sure that they stay in place. And I'm going to run the leads back that way. Can't get any better than that, can you? Ah yes, the ESC. Eastridge Hobbies provided us with a Tekin FXR electronic speed control unit. Basically, this would be the brains of any electric-based RC unit these days. Really easy to use. It's basically a plug-and-play operation where you put it in, you do a couple calibrations with your radio, and your unit's good to go. Now this one's specifically a competition crawler based unit, so it's going to be really good to put in our scale crawler and to be using on the trails. I'm going to show you a really easy way to waterproof your electronics, including this little unit, and it's going to be much easier than what normally one would think. Okay, so I'm about to solder on the negative battery wire to the ESC post. I've already pre-soldered the post and the wire I'm about to do, so I'm just going to heat up that solder. There we go. Okay, so what you're seeing here is the rear bed of the box. Everything installed into this small Tupperware container. Basically where I've drilled through the bottom, I've siliconed and taped it off so no water is going to be coming through. I've actually made soldering points here where I've snipped through the wires and been able to solder them back together in case I wanted to change anything out later on. The BEC has been installed. As you can see, it just basically comes off the battery leads, also where the capacitor has been installed of the ESC, and it just plugs right into the receiver. So now that everything's installed, I can fit it into this container quite easily and have a waterproof electronics container. After weeks of preparation, parts being ordered from around the world, and thanks to Eastridge Hobbies in Calgary, Alberta for helping to sponsor this project. Basically, I'll give you a rundown of the vehicle one more time. These are 2.2 Mudslinger tires from RC4WD, as well as these are RPP limited edition aluminum beadlock rims. I did start off with 2 wraps of 7-gram weights in the front tires and 1 wrap in the back. I have since moved it to 3 wraps in the front and 2 in the back. We've also removed the leaf spring suspension, substituted it with 100mm adjustable sprung shocks. I have a 40 weight oil in there. All of the electronics have been covered up by a split loom just to prevent against corrosion and undue degradation against other obstacles. The winch itself has a dual saddle pack system, battery or energy source. The brain of the truck is a Tekin FXR with a hand-wound Pro motor. Definitely gives some extra torque and performance. So now the long-awaited final assembly of the vehicle. And there we are, one complete truck. The electronics are held in the back container in the back box, which is waterproof and sealed. All the wires are run up through the back of the vehicle into that waterproof box. I'm going to take this vehicle out today and give her its original run out on the trail. We'll actually see what it looks like, so make sure to stay tuned so you can see our first run.